What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we do our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors, entrepreneurs alike, and the cryptocurrency world, where crypto is the absolute biggest opportunity over the next few years or so, and it's not even close. Welcome along on the journey. We're pumped to have you guys. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Corey Geary here, and just truly blessed to be on this journey with you guys where we're going to use cryptocurrencies as that wealth creation tool and use real estate as a wealth preservation tool. You know what, Dane? I still have the blue Corvette. We were not wrecked. It was wrong. It looked like it was all FUD. I thought we were scammed out of our Solid X in Pulse. It was looking that way. In fact, World War III couldn't even wreck us. World War III couldn't even scam us and to go into zero. So I still have the Corvette. If you guys want to buy it, let me know. Shoot me a message. 1 billion Pulse. Glad they sell it to you today. And So, so what's going on out here? Is Hexa security why Pulsechain and Pulsex get a pass? You know what, man? That's an interesting point. They could argue that EHEX, at least I'm talking about Richard's attorneys, EHEX was the only thing that's been traded on Uniswap. It's the only thing that fell into jurisdiction of the United States, and that PHEX, Pulsex, and Inc. But Inc's not even in the lawsuit. But you could argue that none of those traded on Uniswap. I don't know if that's going to be something they pull out of the hat there. They try to use at their disposal, but why wouldn't they? And yeah.
Agreed. I think it'll be really interesting to see how the lawyers end up chopping it up. And I think, when you look at negotiating things like this in a negotiation for a lawsuit, what the SEC doesn't want is to get kicked in the nuts and walk away with nothing. And so you probably end up somewhere at some point where you're giving up something. What do you give up? Richard already fudded EHEX. Is he willing to truly? I mean, seriously, that's truly giving up on EHEX. Do they end up, is that part of the negotiation? I don't know. But it's an interesting thought process to think through and consider how to build your bags in a way that you're comfy.
Throwing EHEX under the bus to save the rest of the assets kind of thing. That would be it is interesting. The SEC be like, all right, well, you're not allowed to talk about EHEX anymore. Okay, done. Right.
Yeah. You can have it.
You can have it. And you still can't stop people from buying it. It's in DeFi. I mean, people want to speculate on it still. They still could. I still think EHEX will have meme coin type pumps. You'd have degens going in there and speculating on this thing and buying it up and then selling it off. It'd be crazy. I think there's going to be a lot of high volatility in the EHEX price chart in the future, whether it's to the downside or the upside or both. It's going to be fun to watch it. I still have some myself because I like playing a little bit of the degenerate game. And I bought, down here in these local lows. Yeah. So we'll see if, let's see if it does anything. But I think it's a 5X even to get to the Bank X sell wall from here, or maybe even more, 5 or maybe 7X to get to the Bank X sell wall. So inside that area, it can bounce around and do whatever it wants because the liquidity is low. And you got people who will they'll speculate. You got people in here that don't care about what Richard Hart thinks. They're going to go in there and buy that crap up, and I'm here for it. So I'll speculate on it because I know you guys will. That's why I'll speculate on it, because you guys will speculate on it. So I'll play off of that. Yeah. So in other news, World War III, huh? I think the stock market opened up positive today, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah. Did it? I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah. It opened up green from my viewing around on Twitter. I didn't go look at the S&P, but if you pull up the S&P, I'm sure it'll tell us the story. What the markets think of these two countries going at each other's throat. Haven't heard any news of us intervening or getting involved. It could happen, and that might facilitate a little bit of the World War III narrative. So, but Solid X rugging is happening. Yeah, man, I don't know. Not the net worth of my portfolio. It's back to the point where it's it's surpassing my pulse bags again. Really close, man.
It's doing
And I
just
don't know
fine.
I don't know if I'd call that a rug, bro. Like,
It's funny to see. In fact, one of the interesting narratives, shout out to Hans. I was watching some of his charting the other day, and he gave a really good example. Let me go ahead and share this. So if you go back and you look at some of these charts, so here's the Cardano chart, for instance. We go back and we look at Cardano. I mean, you're mapping out these time frames of how long the chart was down before it went again. I mean, if we take this from here to, like right here-ish, I mean, that's 570 days of pure and utter like bottom
crazy.
prices, bleeding and pain. That's 576 days. If you go and you look at the hex chart, I'm looking at eHex. I mean, if you compare, it's really interesting. We compare kind of like this bottoming at 3 cents to where we're at now-ish. I mean, we're not far away from 700 days down on the bottom here.
Wow.
700 days. And so, I think you look at the charts and you try to say, like, what do you think? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not real bullish on eHex personally.
I don't blame you. I don't blame
Yeah.
you one bit on that.
Yeah.
But
But I've got bags over there too. Yeah, I've got bags over there too.
I know the degens are going to speculate. I know there's going to be like another type. I think there will be another type Alex the Well event where someone's pumping it to try to exit liquidity the community. Like there'll be some commotion going on over there where I'll be able to make $1 or $2 on swapping it back into Pulse, because that's my store of value. Is I buy anything to accumulate more Pulse. Even Solid X Urban Productions, I accumulate Solid X to get more Pulse. That's the whole end goal. So if Solid X overtakes my Pulse bag, Dane, and at that moment I swap it into Pulse, I just doubled my entire Pulse portfolio. That is massive.
Right.
That is freaking massive, man. And so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. In fact, if you were bullish, I could show this chart. Let me share it. So if you were bullish on Solid X, and I like this little ecosystem that they're building over there with Axis and the Firewell.
You talk like you have a bag, Dane. You talk like you
do
have
have a bag. Absolutely. Full disclosure.
You didn't get rug pulled? I thought you got rug pulled. Bro, I still have the blue Corvette, man. I mean, I could have donated the red Corvette for you. I could have donated for your rug pull the red Corvette. I mean, we got to do what we got to do around here.
That's right. So, I mean, man, if you're looking at this, I'm curious. I think it's hanging out at the 0618 right now. I'm curious if we have a little pullback
I think
here.
it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if we measure bottom to top, I mean, it's hanging out real close. Oh, whoops.
It came down and touched the 786 or a little bit under the 786, and then it springboarded back up out of that. And then you can see it went back. It came back and retested, or almost retested. The people started front running it, but it looks like it was trying to retest, and then it shot up. And I'm interested, Dane, if you put that on the 4 hour, is that a bull flag forming?
This is on the 4 hour.
I'll go to 1 hour. I don't like going to 1 hour usually. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't call that a bull flag. It's just trending upward. So we can see this trending upward, and yeah, for a little while.
Yeah, you got a nice trend line here.
Yeah. It could crank itself up there for a little while. Yeah, it might. There you go. That's a perfect line. It can come back and retest that line. It can also come back and retest the if it wanted to, that 786. It could do it,
Yeah.
and then it would give it a very good market structure at a double bottom, a double local bottom, and then it can go off. So it doesn't have to be like the pump that takes us to Valhalla. It doesn't. This could be. It could be what we need to go down and create the W, a bigger W. I see a W already there.
I
But
mean, look
maybe
at all
this.
these W's. Look at this
I know.
one. Zoom. Look at this one. It's
Right.
on right now.
Right. So it could come down and create a bigger W on a bigger time frame, or it could not. Or it could just not. And if it wants to go and just go, that's another story. So
I mean, you look at it, it's poked its head right above the 0618 here. This
crazy,
is
man. It tells me
theoretically
that it's
confirmation. Look at this W into it, breaking it. Confirmation here. If you wanted to grab some solid X, I mean, it's leaving the reload zone here. No, we don't give any financial advice here. We're just happy bag holders. I'd want to grab some here if I didn't have any. I wanted some exposure before it leaves this reload zone in here. We head up more.
Yep. All right. You're right. OLDB. It could roll over too. That they could come back and retest and double bottom before it takes off. Or it could rug pull, Dane. It could rug pull. We could get rugged here. And so,
it's either going to go up, down, or sideways. So
it's one of the three. I don't know.
The master charting for you there. Hey, shout out to Steven. Steven has been incredibly helpful with some of the. I'm trying to get some of my charting nailed down a little bit more efficiently. So he's been helpful and helping me wrap my head around some things. So shout out to you, Steven. Glad you're here, brother. Thanks for your help in the chat.
Yeah, Hans has helped me incredibly a lot. Yeah, I was fortunate, Dane. I was part of a paid mastermind. I do those. I was part of a paid trader type mastermind in the beginning of my crypto journey that they went in there and they did all kinds of charting and TA sessions. I learned a lot in those earlier sessions that are kind of starting to come out now. It's starting to pay its dividends finally. Or I can start seeing these structures form. And it's just good for your DCAs, good for selling on your doubles, seeing these Ws, knowing how to use the fib extension, knowing where you have, liquidity pockets or order blocks versus fair value gaps and all those stuff. And like you're starting to notice these as we're playing these meme coin games or even the utility token stuff. I saw Hans, he posted today, it looks like Fame might have bottomed against Pulse, which is really cool if that happened, because it's finally, if we could see something happen with Fame, would be pretty amazing. I mean, it's just a slow mover, and I'm fine with that. I do like Fame. I like Buck. I like the team over there. I want to hold their bags through the bull run, but it's got to do something. Please do something. And so it's cool that Hans is calling out the bottom against Pulse here on Fame. So we'll see if he's right or not. Doesn't mean that's going to go to the moon tomorrow. This is never financial advice, guys. We're just letting you know what
that looks real nice. Look at this chart. This looks real nice. Let me go ahead and pull this up.
It's creating structure down there, right?
Yeah, it looks good too. All right. Can you see my screen?
I can't. Oh God, that looks good. It looks like death.
Oh man, pure and utter destruction against Pulse.
But we got a nice W there.
But look at this W. It's beautiful. You got prices trending up here. You got this nice trend line. It's trying to break this high right here, put in a new higher high. So we haven't had confirmation of this break yet.
And it could come back and retest before it does shoot up and break that higher high. For confirmation. It could come back and retest, but that's a great looking structure there where if you are interested in Fame, not financial advice, if you're interested in this asset, that would be for me, a good DCA zone along with Hans. And so I'm going to watch this very closely, and I hope they're actually able to do something because I do like Fame. I like Buck. I like that they're one of the best, I feel like, early builders in our ecosystem that came out and delivered high quality products for us to use that out of the gate. And, they, I'm all about them. So I'll be
Yeah.
cheering this. I'll be cheering this chart on, and yeah.
Deep in the reload zone. Yeah, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is, dude. So yeah, keep an eye out on this one. I can't wait for the day when Fiat does this. I might be a little longer before Fiat does this. Fame has a lot more hype and a lot more people using the protocol versus Fiat, I feel like. But doesn't mean Fiat's going to go anywhere. It might just take a little bit more time to do what it's going to do. Just because, this doesn't get as much usage, I feel like.
It's
I don't ever
hard.
see anyone talking about it.
And for
I
charting
don't.
purposes, there's not like a good chart on Deck Screener for this one because all the liquidity is over on Fux. Yeah, we'll look at it anyways, though.
Yeah, try it. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
look
we
at.
go. And
I mean,
then,
it's starting to round out here.
yeah, it might.
Starting to
You know
flatten
what?
out.
Uh-huh. That's look to me, it looks like a bottom. Okay, it needs to make. All right, there's a lower low.
Yeah,
That
bro.
it's coming off that lower low. We got to see what structure it creates here.
Yeah.
It has an opportunity to change trajectory here. We'll see what it does.
Right.
We'll see what it does.
Some of the stuff started to turn around. It feels good.
It's cool, man. I mean, I'm all about those guys, yeah. Fox Pulse looking very similar. Yeah, trying to find a local bottom. That's awesome too. I'm a little worried about the Fox though. Even if they do find a local bottom, there's a lot of unlocks coming up. When they hit their year anniversary, now this could be just, I'm not trying to FUD, but maybe it is just FUD. When the year anniversary hits from their launch, everyone was locking up Fux for the max rewards inside the Fux protocol to get the 2.5x multiplier. Those rewards come due soon. Or not the rewards, I'm sorry, the principal that people locked up. I have a bag in there. That's how I know. And so like when that comes due, like what's the price chart going to look like? It might be a nothing burger. It's very well could be a nothing burger, but it's also very well we see some destruction on the price chart too. So I don't know. We'll see. That'll be interesting. At least with Fame and Fiat, we know all the tokens are out. Like it's just doing its thing now. Like I have a lot more surety in those two assets right now. For my money, if I was going to DCA into these assets, I would not be DCAing into Fux.
No.
It would scare me. It would scare me.
Agreed.
That would scare me.
This is a good question. I'm going to assume this was a serious question, so give a really high
It's
level.
coming from Facebook, so it could be.
Yeah. So I'm going to give just a real high level overview. In cryptocurrency, you have different blockchains. So maybe you've heard of, Bitcoin, Ethereum, there's different blockchains that people can build on top of. And Pulsechain is a newer blockchain that's been out almost a year, coming up on a year, that we like a lot. There's not a lot of newer layer one blockchains with some of the infrastructure and code base that Pulsechain has. So pretty well all of our holdings are over on that blockchain. We buy things primarily associated with Pulsechain, and we think it's going to rip in a really big way. So that's what Pulsechain is.
It's got one of the best communities in all of crypto with loud megaphones, just like this one, that are screaming the good word of Pulsechain. And it's only a matter of time to me. It's just, can you hold long enough? Which is also another interesting thing, Dane. We're almost at that 50-week narrative shakeout. And like, what if the World War III little crash that we experienced over this weekend and went like we went down and, another 20%. We were already getting wrecked. But like, what if that was the last bit of the 50-week shakeout? It's coming right around the corner, man. I mean, I can't remember what date that would be. You'd back out 2 weeks from, I guess, May 12th. So we're about right there. It's we'll see how that plays out.
I mean, yeah, you had Nick Cherry get out. Dylan talked about it on Friday.
Oh,
He is a Coinbase dev apparently, and he's out. Yeah, I mean,
and he
he
was
was
like
one of the last big wallets standing.
second or third biggest. But yeah, I mean, it's like there's like Rackham, he still has a lot apparently, but like, so what? So he's our only VC left, and I like to compare these guys to like the VC guys over in Solana or one of these other chains. Even Phantom has VCs. These guys have massive bags, and that's what I compare it to. Is like these guys are our VCs. It'd be interesting if Rackham's the only one kind of lingering over our heads. I'm sure he'll be exiting out too as we start to pump again. At least let's get his bags down some. Like the amount he has in those bags are massive. It'd be nice to get them down some.
Agreed. I'm trying to find. That's a good question, Drew. I'm trying to find a good ETH chart.
You might have to build it if you're doing a Pulsechain /ETH chart. You might have to build it, or you could try, Dane, wrap Pulse ETH. So the bridged over version of Pulse might have a chart on Dex Screener.
Oh, that's a good point.
Versus ETH. Yeah, you might.
Yeah, gotta be. Let's see.
You would think.
We'll look at it. All right, I think I found it. If you guys have a better chart, put it in the comments. We'll put it up here. Some of you are far better chartists than me, so feel free to send it over. But let's look. Let's go. So we're here on the daily.
Okay, that looks like the normal.
So let's go back to.
Eesh. Looks like a stable coin.
Can't be right.
Right. That's a stable coin.
It's stable. Pulse is tracking ETH perfectly, apparently.
Well, I mean, we are leveraged on ETH, so I mean,
that can't be right. Let's see if I go ETH Pulse. I mean, this is the one I just pulled up. I don't see anything else with real thick liquidity. There's not a lot of good charts sometimes. Yeah, I don't see a good one here.
Yeah.
What if we
I want TradingView to list Pulsechain and all the assets in Pulsechain, because TradingView, man, is a great chart building. You have all these tools. Right. I was using it for a while. When I was part of that mastermind, I had subscribed to TradingView, and I got really comfortable using it and building charts and using those tools that come along with it. So like if we can get on TradingView, man, it would be game over for these charts. And you'll be able to go in there and really do some cool TA that a lot of the stuff that would be almost automated for you, because TradingView has so many cool tools and features integrated inside of it. Yeah, it'd be fun to have them take us on. I need to reach out to Crypto Coffee. I think that'd be a Crypto Coffee conversation with the Pulse Foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. 5-minute chart. I don't know what the deal is over there.
I mean, it's not nearly as bad as I deal with liquid loans.
Oh, jeez. Get me all riled up here, Corey.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. You guys have some really good questions. Let's do let's go with this one. Any theories on why the SAC bonuses weren't vested or locked? Personally, I think RH wanted the price to mega dump so the OA could make more impact on price performance. I'm just a peanut brain though. Now, what are your thoughts, Corey?
I mean, they're not. We weren't VCs, everyone. has their own fair shake out of that. If you were able to put more money in, you got more money. Now, I didn't agree with obviously the bigger pays better bonus, sack bonus ended up hurting the price chart a lot harder than we anticipated. But I mean, we weren't actual VCs. It's not how we do. Like, so a lot of times you see these new protocols launch where the VCs are vested like this, like he's talking about, and their tokens will come out over time intervals. That's not what we did or what we were. We were a free, everybody could participate, sacrifice that, what are you going to do? Time lock the big guys, but not time lock the small guys? Well, that's technically not fair. If you're going to do that, you'd have to time lock everybody equally. And still, it's nobody wants their coins time locked. I just feel like the bigger.
I mean, there's a lot of people that like to lock them up for 15 years.
Okay, maybe he should have given an option. That could have been one thing. Like, here, time. That's how you give the bigger pays better bonus, instead of being like you do it out of how much liquidity you sacrifice or how big your sacrifice was. You could be like, well, if you time lock for 15 years, I'll give you the 2.5x multiplier.
Hey, there'd have been a lot of it locked up. That's actually an interesting.
I'd have been cool with that, man. Yeah, that would have been fun.
That would have sucked. I'd have locked up way more coins than I should have.
I probably would have too. Shit.
I definitely would have.
I was a pleb back then.
Oh, me too. Mm-hmm. So here's a question that we like to cut through narratives here. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. So put them in the chat. I think that the community in general around Richard has gotten a lot more sophisticated during the bear market. You talk to just about anybody that'll be honest, and many of the OGs that locked up tokens wish that they wouldn't have. Now, for those of you that thought that was a great decision, still, I'm not addressing you. That's fine, whatever you think. But most wish they wouldn't have done that. And many are very comfortable selling now. Very comfortable. And I can't tell you how many I've talked to that are like, I'm taking profits. I'm going to do all these different things. I'm not leaving chips on the table this bull market. And that's not a great thing for the price charts in general, if people are a lot more liberal and taking profits this go around. So how do you think that'll affect the price performance this bull run? I'm really curious. I still think things are going to do great. You have to get the market to a place where people are more nervous about taking profits because they'll get left behind. And I don't think there's a necessarily huge shift we need to see in order for things to start getting in that place. But what does it take? What does it take?
Yep.
Post in the chat. What are your guys' thoughts on that? What do you think, Corey?
Anytime you have a cycle 2 coin, you always have people in there who round trip, got stuck. They didn't believe the top was in. They kept buying or they kept holding, thinking it was going to go higher. This is why cycle 2 coins perform worse than cycle 1 coins. Cycle 1 coins, you don't have all the people trapped from the previous cycle. So the interesting part about Hex is that not only do we have that, but a lot of people were forced to be trapped and locked in because of the staking feature, the staking mechanism that Hex has. So you have a lot of people in there trapped from the prior cycle. Now, the good part is there's still a lot of people who have Hex stakes that are 5555 that won't even really get out this cycle. They're still going to be trapped. But there'll be some that can get out, and there'll be some that can do EES where they'll get, the majority of their principal back. Maybe they're like, over halfway done. The 50% of the serve time gets you your principal back if it's over 6 months, a 6 month stake. So you'd have a lot of those guys who are going to end up taking that out this cycle because they were trapped this last cycle. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting how it plays out, Dane. We're going to need some pretty good buy pressure. But that's why cycle 2 coins don't do as well as cycle 1. That's why you get.
But I'm saying, like, you forked the community. You make a great point. You fork the community. It's not just Hex. It's everything.
It's everything. Right. Hex is everything.
Mhm.
That's why you don't come in with the I don't come in with the expectations that Hex is going to give me 1,000x this bull market. The Hex is not going to probably not even give me 100x this bull market. If I get a 10, 20x off my Hex, I'll be happy. I'll be
Sure.
happy off my
Not
Hex.
not only Hex is what I'm saying, like Pulsechain, Pulsex, Inc., it's the same community members, and nobody wants to leave chips on the table for the
It
bear
is,
market.
but you will have new retail that will come in and buy Pulse, Pulsex, and Inc. There will be new buyers in there because they understand. They know it's a cycle one. I feel like those will pump harder and have a lot more opportunity to moon on the price chart versus Hex, where Hex will take a beating. In fact, we've already seen it. When Hex gets pushed up, people like to sell their Hex and use Pulse as a store of value, or use Inc. as a store of value. So I think we'll see a lot more of that as the price charts are going up. Now I could be wrong. That's but that's all I've seen so far. So I don't think we'll see the destruction on those price charts as much as you're going to see on Hex. They don't have a lot of the guys who are coming in. I see like new people all the time, like that Donovan guy. He comes in, he loves Pulse, Pulsex, and Inc. He doesn't like Hex, and he's a big influencer. I think we're going to see a lot more. He doesn't have any recency biases of Pulse or Pulsex because of Hex, of him getting stuck in Hex. So I think you're going to see a lot more of this newer adoption going on. And to be frank, they're not going to pick up Hex as much because they're going to see all the dumping. They will pick it up. Some of them will. Hex will, I think will be fine, guys. Please don't give us any hate tweets on Twitter. I think Hex will be fine and it will do good this bull market. It's just not going to be your 1,000x coin. It's not. Or maybe even 100x coin. I just don't think it's going to do it. I could be wrong. And I got a big bag of Hex, guys, just in case I'm wrong. I do. And I have not sold my Hex. And even down here at these freaking bottoms, when we're just getting obliterated down here, where everyone's the most bearish, I haven't sold it. I got my bag, man. I got my bag, and I want to keep my bag just in case I'm wrong, because I'm not in this game, Dane, to be right. I'm not. I'm in this shit to make money, man. And so, like, if that requires me holding on something where the narrative could play the different way, like, even though I might believe, like, I need to make sure I hedge my bet on the other direction because I might be wrong. I very well could be wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. Maybe Dylan is right. We had him on the show last week, and he had talked a lot about why he thinks Hex will be the premier coin on Pulsechain for this market cycle, and it's going to do amazing. And maybe he's right. I mean, I don't know. You're muted, Dane.
Thank you. No,
There
you
we go.
make some really good points. What would need to happen? And you guys, we need your interaction in the comments here. We want to talk about some of the quiet parts out loud here. I think it's interesting to get feedback. What would it take for you to consider Hex a store of value moving forward? Like what would need to happen for that narrative to be resurrected?
Oh, man,
Can
it's
it
for
be?
me. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's not a store of value. Pulse is my store of value. I take profits, everything into Pulse. Like Pulse is my Ethereum, if you will, or my Bitcoin, even if you will. Like that's where I go into. And when I go out of the market, Dane, when I'm going from Pulse into like, okay, I'm getting ready to exit into my bank account, I will actually go into Ethereum if anything. Otherwise, I go in the stable coin and exit into my bank account. I am not going from Pulse when things are getting toppy into Hex. You have lost your damn mind if you think that's where I'm going with all my economic energy once we start to get toppy, like from Pulse into Hex. That is wild. And Dane, that would be a real store value, right? Where you could feel confident in that move. Like, no, like there's just I don't have that confidence in that move. I'm going to use Hex as a tool this bull run. I will, and I think it could do fine. And I might be wrong, and it might do 100x. I don't know. I'm here for it. I have a bag for it. But even if it does 100x, you think I'm going to keep that 100x in Hex? I'm putting it in Pulse. And then Pulse goes to Ethereum or stablecoin into my bank account. They're probably in the real estate. Real estate's my store of value, Dane. Real estate's my store of value.
Okay, I think it's a fair take. You and I are aligned on that one. So what are you guys doing? I'm curious. Those of you here in the chat, we've got about 200 of you. If you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube. You can post comments. It's a lot more interactional. What are you guys going to do? Are you, in fact, are you like us? Will you do something in real estate to be able to have a true bear market hedge when it's time to take profits and you feel like the bull runs over? Are you going to go elsewhere and do other things? I'm curious what your guys' bear market hedges are. There doesn't appear to be any in crypto outside of stable coins. And I know that's like an anti. A lot of people are like, we just want to get more Ethereum and more Bitcoin with playing the game elsewhere. But even if Bitcoin, I mean, if Bitcoin's going to drop 60, 70%, in a bear market, like, do you really want to put all your money there? All your gains? I mean, for me, it's a no. I want to go put it in places where I can truly hedge the bear market with something like real estate. Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep. Yeah, I like this. I think Drew nailed it. Yeah, for Hex to be a store of value, it needs to do better in bear markets. You can't be a store of value and drop 98% in price during a bear market. I actually think Hex could kind of reclaim some of this, but we won't know until the next bear market. So you're making a huge bet if you want to bet on this as being a bear market hedge next time, because if you've gotten a lot of the sellers out, maybe it doesn't do this parabolic run, kind of like you're saying, Corey, which also leads to the idea that maybe it has less downside too.
Right.
And so then you actually could have it as somewhat of a store of value. You still have so many unlocks, though, which I think is a tricky part in that equation. That, what do people want to do with their bear market hedge in the bear market? Well, they want to sell it,
Unfortunately, the early guys got so much inflation, man. They crushed it with the inflation on Hex, kind of like how Hedron was. Like when you inflate the crap out of the token in the early days, it's just going to get crushed for a while. There might be and maybe if it's not next cycle, Dane, maybe it's like the fourth cycle. Maybe it's the fourth cycle when it finally becomes stable enough, or because of the inflation, right? It's diminished so much over time. Now it's able to have a lot more stability on the price chart. I don't know. I could kind of see that playing out, but it's going to take time. That takes time to flush out that inflation, right? To flush it out and get it out in the marketplace for, to spread that up across, all the smaller fish in the sea. Kind of like what Pulse is doing now, like with Nick Cherry capitulating. What happens? You have this one shark that holds all these coins. That shark sells. Well, all those coins get dispersed into a bunch of dolphins and even turtles. Maybe a couple other sharks pick it up. That's fine. But like it gets spread across all these other, lower fish in the sea. And that's healthy for the price chart. That's really, really healthy that you don't have one guy controlling all the supply over all these people under him. So it spreads that economic energy, throughout the ecosystem evenly, which makes it nice. You need that lot more with Hex because those time blocks are holding those bags over people's heads right now. So it's you just need those bags to come out and be dispersed throughout the marketplace for new guys could come in and buy those coins up.
Yeah, I like it. Duke of Booze makes a great point here. Yeah, Hex might need only to decline the same or less than ETH next bear market. This way, stakers would outperform ETH.
Wow.
Actually, I like that take.
That would be sexy if it did that. That's a hard one to swallow, though. ETH is like a blue chip been around. Like to drop less than ETH, man, that's a heavy one. I don't know if is that even possible.
You'd have to not go up that much in order to maintain.
That is true. That is true. One of the reasons, Dane, that I think you hit the nail on the head. One of the reasons why we had such a crash is because we did a 10,000x so fast in the last cycle. It was like, and we mooned. The asset absolutely mooned, and so What goes up like that's going to absolutely get crushed from people taking profits. Yeah.
Yep.
Just
Yep. And like Tin Top says, truth. I mean, a penny hex is still good gains for those that got in early.
oh,
Yeah.
they killed it. They're still
Yep.
killing it. They're still killing it. I know guys who are making like almost 200% APY on their T shares because they got in so early with the big payday bonuses and all that. It's insane. So they don't need to have a dollar hex. They don't need to have it.
Right. I like this. Thanks for your comment. Yeah, the 5-minute chart. Post bull, 40% stables, 50% real estate, 10% for bear market degen plays.
I like that. That's a
great
bag.
I do too. I like that a lot.
Great bag.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. I like this. In fact, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to talk about some of that stuff as we get closer. Corey and I have some cool things working on the background that that hopefully we'll talk about later on down the road, which will be cool. We're here to help you guys. We've got some things we're working on, which will be fun.
And no, we're not launching a meme coin.
No.
God.
Oh man. All right, cool. Well, anything else you want to cover, Corey? We've been going for about 40 minutes now.
It's good, man. It's time to go grab lunch, and I got to drive to a doctor's office. If you guys haven't moved to Puerto Rico, let me just warn you, there's a lot of inefficiencies here. There's a lot of it's like literally traveling back 50 years in time where if you want to make a doctor's appointment, you got to drive to the doctor's office. It's crazy to me. And so we're learning these things by being out here. Fortunate enough that there's a doctor right by here where I live. So I'm going to drive over there and see if I can make an appointment today. It's so wild. Oh, but it's awesome. We love it out here. So no, that's it, man. Should be a pretty normal week. I know we leave on Friday. We're going to be speaking at a real estate event over in California. So we'll be there for a couple of days, and so we won't be doing open mic Friday. Maybe we'll do open mic Thursday or something. We'll see how the week plans out. But otherwise, we're here, we're around, and let's see what happens this week, man. If we go to World War III, I'm going to be ready to buy the dip. If that happens, I don't. This FUD here is not even close to the FUD that we had during the SEC. Dane, when I can still buy assets and not throw up in my mouth, I know we're nowhere close to the FUD I was experiencing last year. This is nothing. This is bring it on, bring this on, and I'm ready for it, man.
Agreed. I like it. Cool, guys. Well, catch us. We should be here the rest of this week up through Thursday. Catch us tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Peace, guys.